Welcome back into Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. It is going to be a very busy offseason for the Atlanta Braves. I mean, we already knew that they were going to have to make big changes, make some big decisions on guys like Ozzy Albies. Are they going to trade a big star? Are they going to shake things up? We know they have holes. They need to get a new DH. They got to do a complete makeover in the bullpen. But it all starts with a managerial search. I thought there was a good chance. We were leaning towards Brian Snitker returning just from the things that he was saying, the lack of noise around the situation. But it does appear that he was allowed to make the decision. We saw Alex Anthopoulos up there crying, saying he's the reason that I have this World Series ring. Brian Snitker said himself that it was his decision, that he just felt at the end of the season that, you never kind of feel like you're supposed to retire. But if you don't do it, you're going to keep coaching. You're going to keep managing for your entire life. So he felt like it was the right decision. It does seem like it was Brian Snitker's decision. And I think that's something that we were all kind of wondering. Is it going to be the Braves? Is it going to be Brian Snitker? It seems like the Braves allowed him to make that decision. And it's the end of the line for one of the best managers in Braves franchise history. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, the second best. And I was thinking about, just in terms of, I saw somebody say he's one of the best head coach, managers in Atlanta sports history. And I would just like to know who is better than him other than Bobby Cox. Like, name one. It's nobody on the Falcons. It's nobody on the Hawks. Like, I guess if you want to pull in Atlanta United, whoever their manager was when they won that championship, sure, I guess. But literally nobody else. I mean, who the hell are we talking about? Obviously, the Thrashers were here and gone. The Falcons have still never won a Super Bowl. The Hawks have never won a championship in Atlanta. I mean, it is Bobby Cox, and then it's Brian Snitker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close either.
Well, yeah, and I think you can even make the argument that Snitker was better than Bobby Cox.
I 100% agree.
I mean, he was here for a shorter tenure. Okay, you didn't win 14 straight division titles, but let's say he was here. He was managing for 20, 25 years. Like, I would put the odds at pretty high the Braves get another World Series.
Also, I could make the argument those teams were more talented in the 90s. Of course, I wasn't alive to really, be there. But in terms of like every single time the Braves were in a playoff series, they had a better rotation. Every single time.
Yeah.
When they had the three horses.
I can tell you what he did in 2021 should never be forgotten. I mean, it was a surgical masterpiece. I mean, just think about that rotation, guys. You had Ian Anderson, who was a baby, right? And I know Ian Anderson at that point was a postseason legend. And then you had Max Fried, who was kind of carrying it. Charlie Morton was there for a little bit. He breaks his leg in the World Series. You have this bullpen that shows up, but it was managed to perfection. I mean, he pulled all of the right strings. I mean, talk about pulling Ian Anderson in that critical game. I think it was game 5 or whatever, game 6, whatever it was. No, it wasn't game 6 because that was a Max Fried game. But regardless, he pulls Ian Anderson. The guy has a no-hitter. He has a no-hitter. I mean, there's not a lot of managers that are pulling their guys in the World Series that has a no-hitter. To have a bullpen that's been good in the postseason, but they're not necessarily. It's not Mariano Rivera you're handing the ball to. Like, yeah, they were good that postseason.
They were awful all season long.
I mean, he was surgical. Bobby Cox never did that. I mean, so what he did in that run, I mean, he was 100 for 100 in every decision that he made. He was absolutely perfect. So he 100% deserves so much credit for that. And I get it. Some people are out there rejoicing, and you have the right to do that.
I'm saying always greener.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited to do a manager coaching search in football, coaching search in basketball. It's always fun. Like, I'm excited to see the names that are thrown around, and maybe we finally go out of this box that the Braves have kind of been stuck in for 30 years, where it's always a guy that's been within the organization. Like, I'm excited for that possibility. And I understand the arguments that could be made that Brian Snitker, a new voice, could be needed. I definitely don't think he was perfect. I've said on several occasions he wasn't the biggest problem. So I'm excited for that. But, you said it right. The grass isn't always greener. And I think it's a better time to celebrate what he did do, because he did do plenty of stuff.
This wasn't like this guy did way more good than bad. I mean, he really shepherded in this new era for the Atlanta Braves, where obviously we didn't make the playoffs this year, but he shepherded in the era from that rebuild to where we are now. And I think that you're just being a complete buffoon. I mean, honestly, you're just being an asshole if you're like celebrating him going on the way out. We should be celebrating the fact that he led this team through so many successful years I think it's crazy. He didn't get, a traditional send off, at least over the course of the last month of the season or whatever it might be, when he, really in his mind thought that he was going to go. But that's who he is. I mean, he is grandpa on the porch sipping sweet tea, watching the grandkids play in the yard. Like, he doesn't need a send off to feel special. And I think, that's kind of refreshing in today's age, because every single person, at least player-wise, is like waiting on the moment to be celebrated. And it's nice to have like an old school kind of a guy just go, I'm done. I don't really need, the cheers. My family's enough for me, because like, Lord knows when somebody of this caliber goes out in terms of a player, they want to make sure everybody knows, every city they go to, they want to be showered with praise. I still think he deserves it. Whatever the Braves are going to do for him, he certainly deserves it. But like, it's refreshing, I think.
He's immediately going into the Braves Hall of Fame next season. So he'll get a big moment there next year, and more than deserving. I mean, as I've said on several occasions coming down the stretch when we talked about Brian Snitker and the possibility, I mean, one of the most like influential members of the Braves organization. I mean, the guy was here for 49 years. Like beyond wins and losses, his tenure. That's kind of an odd thing. 10-year tenure as Braves manager, like beyond all that, the successes, the World Series, like the amount of lives he's touched from, people around the ballpark, over a 49-year stretch as a part of this organization goes so much further and beyond, just what we saw over his tenure.
I can't even imagine the web of what you're just talking about over 49 years of just impact.
I mean, think about all the Hall of Famers that have walked through the doors of the Braves over the last 50 years. The last 35 years, this has been one of the most successful organizations. Yeah. I mean, Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer that he has had a direct impact on over 49 years. So if he's ever under consideration for Cooperstown, I know he wasn't the manager for that long, but when you have that much of an impact over 49 years of an organization that had the kind of success that the Braves had.
And that shit tickles the peaches of Hall of Fame voters. I mean, they'll overlook like better careers if you are like, the quintessential baseball guy. Like if you did things the right way, character counts kind of a thing, that's going to go a long way in Hall of Fame voters' minds. I mean, it's just the truth, particularly baseball Hall of Fame voters.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing Brian Snitker said it during his press conference where he's like, I just hope I left this place better than when he found it. And I think a lot of people don't realize where we were in 2016. I understand a talent had a lot to do with it. Ronald Acuna guys and all these guys coming up and stuff like that. Austin Riley, we had this wealth of talent that just hit the major leagues once he became the manager. But the way that he managed it, and beyond that, think about every guy that came to Atlanta, right? And, new faces, all the things they tried and how they played their best. Like a lot of that has to do with your manager. Like people always lauded the clubhouse, how much they loved playing for the Braves. Like that's Brian Snitker. People took less money to come to the Braves. Took 1-year deals. Talking about the Josh Donaldsons, the Marcell Ozunas, the Charlie Mortons, just kept taking 1-year deals. Like there's a chance that Chris Sale signs an extension with this team way less this offseason that he would get on the open market if he tests free agency at the end of next season. And the reason that a lot of these guys do that, all these long-term extensions, some that have worked, that haven't worked out, is because of the culture that Brian Snitker helped develop. And to think that never once over 40 years he was ever considered to be the manager of the Atlanta Braves. It took Freddie Freeman and veterans like Nick Markakis to step up for him when he was the interim manager and say, this guy should be the manager, change the course of this franchise forever. And that's what I really want to focus on when we're talking about Brian Snitker. And we can get into, possible candidates here right now, but I think everyone's going to talk. Woo! It's like, let's celebrate like the man for what he was able to do.
If we just went through a damn near decade of just shit, just constant shitting, when I can't even think of an example, like the Browns and Kevin Stefanski. No idea how that guy still has a job. When he gets fired, yeah, they should probably cheer. But what are we doing? Are you that spoiled that you missed a playoff one time and damn near a decade and you're cheering this guy on his way out? I mean, get some perspective, buddy. We are one of the most spoiled fan bases in Major League Baseball. Like, how could it get better?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe win a couple more World Series. Guess how many teams have won multiple World Series in Brian Snitker's tenure? I don't think there's one, because the Dodgers have only had one. 2020 doesn't count.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the Dodgers. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's just so hard to do.
That's
like winning a World.
Who are you looking at and you're like, damn, that's what I really want. Like, grass ain't always greener.
Yeah. No, I think, Braves fans that are sitting here today thinking that this fix is a large part of the problems, like I think they're totally fooling themselves.
Yeah, we need a TikToker who can go in there and really motivate the guys.
Maybe a new voice helps a little bit. And maybe they get a guy who has a lot of postseason experience. I mean, there's not a ton of them out there, but a lot of postseason experience, and they can pull all the strings and win us a World Series when we shouldn't have. But I think the reality of the situation is whoever they hire, probably going to be a downgrade.
I don't even think it's going to be it'll be marginal in either direction, because baseball in particular, among the big four, the head coach or manager has such a small impact on a regular season outcome. Like, if the Braves bounce back next season, they were always going to bounce back no matter what, which we all expect them to do. Like, it doesn't matter. If you think the Braves go out and win 100 games because they don't have Brian Snitker, then you have no idea how baseball works.
The question now becomes, who is going to be the next manager of the Atlanta Braves? Do they go the internal route? I know Walt Weiss is going to be mentioned. Maybe he gets an interview. Maybe they already have an idea. Maybe they're already just like, we don't even need to do an interview process. It's Walt Weiss.
Shocked if they didn't already have.
I don't think, and maybe this is just the hopeful in me, I don't think it's going to be Walt Weiss. I don't think it's going to be anybody currently on the coaching staff. I think David Ross is going to be a popular name. You hear consistently. Ken Rosenthal recently just wrote an article on him on The Athletic talking about how he is eager to manage again. Timing, coincidence? I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences. I think that thing was purposely put out there by his agents once they caught word that the Atlanta Braves opening. But the one thing that is true, any name that you can possibly imagine is going to be at the becking call of the Atlanta Braves and Alex Anthopoulos.
We're going to have our pick of the litter.
They can get whoever they want.
This is not like another Atlanta. This isn't like the Falcons or the Hawks. The Braves are the pinnacle of the sport. They were in the 90s. We still have one of the most talented rosters in baseball. We have an established GM who has proven, even if he has missed in recent seasons, to be one of the better executives in baseball. The facilities, the culture, everything is ready-made for you to come in, turn the keys to the ignition, and take this team to another World Series. Yeah. This will be the most sought-after position in baseball this offseason, bar none. Bar none.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for, though. I'm not looking for a first-time manager. I'm not. So that just immediately crosses off everybody that's currently sitting, in the Braves dugout right now.
That's not true.
What, Freddie Gonzalez? Yeah. I'm not looking for Freddie Gonzalez. I'm looking for someone with legitimate managerial experience that can manage egos, and because I think the Braves, frankly, have some guys in the locker room that need to be managed. I'm talking about Ronald Acuna. I love Ronald Acuna, but you need someone that can manage different personalities, and this team is set up to win today. So I want someone that has experience winning. And David Ross necessarily doesn't have that, but, I can make an exception for him. I really like Skip Schumacher. Hasn't gone out there and won a championship, but NL rookie or NL coach of the year, manager of the year a couple years ago. You could really get outside the box. Travis d'Arnaud goes out there and decides to retire.
You just said no first-time manager.
That's different, though. He's been a manager for the Braves before.
Fair. He's been a co-manager. He's been
a manager before. Bruce Bochy just got let go by the Rangers. He's won 4 World Series. I don't really understand why they decided to.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
I think he's going to be the next manager of the Giants, though, just given, Buster Posey's their GM and all the success that they had when he was a player and he was the manager. So that makes sense. And Schumacher definitely could be waiting for that Cardinals job to open up, but Marmol just got brought back to be their manager for 2026, which is a surprise to many people. A lot of people thought he would take over in St. Louis. So now potentially, if he doesn't want to wait, the Braves are a pretty damn good job with a similar reputation in terms of the lore of baseball. So there are some intriguing options out there. I'm interested to see what other names that kind of aren't expected. I know people are going to talk about Ron Washington. I do think I thought Ron Washington, probably 90 to 95% chance he would have been back on this staff and Brian Snitker, was retained. But he's not going to be the next manager of the Atlanta Braves. And the simple reason is he's 73 years old and just had quadruple bypass surgery. Like, he's not going to be managing anyone next season. And it's not because he doesn't deserve it. It's because he's old and
die.
Yeah, like,
let's just call a spade a spade.
I'm not necessarily saying he could die, but you can't when you have a World Series aspirations, which not a lot of teams that are looking for managers right now do. You don't want to have to worry that, hey, like, a health concern could cause him to step away in the middle of the season, which it did this year.
Yeah, I think there is still a chance he comes back. But the only one I could see when I was thinking about it, because I saw people talking about Ron, is, if Walt Weiss got the promotion, like an internal promotion, and then kind of that's about the only reason I could see, Wash and EY coming back. Because if you get a new manager, the manager is going to want to put his staff together the way he sees fit, including Tim Hires, including Seitzer, including everybody. And maybe he keeps some guys and, says we don't want to do that. So it would be a disservice to whoever the manager is if Anthopoulos was like, we're good here. We just need you to step in and fill Snit's role. You're hiring a new manager because you like who he is, his opinions, his philosophies, and you're hamstringing him if you don't give him the opportunity to fill out his staff his way.
No, absolutely. It should be his decisions. Now, he could look at the situation and be like, you know what, Rick Kranitz is kind of a nasty pitching coach.
Sure.
Ron Washington has a lot of relationship with these guys, and he's well respected. He knows just about everyone in baseball. I'm sure whoever manages has had his fair share of run-ins with Ron Washington. He's been around the damn game for just as long as Brian Snitker. But I'm very interested to see. We'll keep up with it moving forward. But yes, the Braves will be searching for a new manager and what is the start of what is a pivotal offseason for the organization. If you like this video, make sure to check it out, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.